Welcome to today's Explainer. I am absolutely pumped to guide you through this one because, wow, we are going on a totally fascinating journey. Today, we're going to demystify the invisible systems that pretty much dictate our entire digital lives. We spend hours every single day interacting with these platforms, but how often do we actually stop to look at the machinery humming just beneath the surface? Well, today we are pulling back the curtain on the algorithms, the artificial intelligence, and the very real human decisions pulling the strings.
So I really want you to think about this provocative question. Who is actually controlling your digital feeds? We are going to completely strip away the slick corporate PR today and dive into some hard source data and incredible insider revelations. We're looking at the structural flaws and the massive, massive profit motives driving social media and AI right now. Get ready, because the reality here is way stranger and a lot more complex than what we're usually told.
All right, Section 1, the algorithmic arms race, or basically competing for your attention. Okay, let's dive into this. To understand exactly where we are today, we have to look at how a literal perfect storm created this massive arms race. Now, before 2020, major companies had actually started to recognize the real-world harms their algorithms could cause, like what happened with the tragic events in Myanmar, and they promised us better safety. But then 2020 hits. We're all locked indoors, scrolling endlessly, and TikTok just bursts onto the scene, totally changing the game with its super engaging, short-form video feed. It sparked this furious high-stakes competition for your eyeballs. Post-2020, Meta absolutely rushes to launch Instagram Reels to compete, and according to Meta whistleblower and senior researcher Matt Model, who literally studied the impact on millions of users, this rushed launch meant the safety infrastructure was nowhere near ready. This old-school, move fast and break things attitude directly led to a measurable, immediate spike in bullying, harassment, and violence across the platform. Now, what's really interesting about this slide is the stark, undeniable contrast between public PR and private reality. Over on the left, you've got Meta firmly denying they deliberately amplify harmful content for profit, and TikTok claiming they invest heavily in safety tech. But look at the right side, the whistleblower reality. Insiders reveal these algorithms are fundamentally optimized for engagement at all costs. The data shows that borderline content, stuff that's technically legal but super outraging or polarizing, like wild conspiracy theories or deep-seated misogyny, that stuff drives absolutely massive engagement. In this arms race, growth and engagement have just systematically crushed user safety. Moving on to Section 2, prioritizing politics over protection. Let's take a look inside the whistleblower's dashboard. We're going to look directly at how these massive tech companies actually triage real-world harm on the ground. Check out this actual dashboard data provided by a TikTok trust and safety whistleblower. When content gets flagged, moderators have to deal with it based on a priority ranking. And right here, a post where a politician in Iraq was called a chicken was ranked as a P1, literally the highest possible priority. But in that exact same country, a case involving a 16-year-old girl whose image was being shared alongside fake sexualized nudes, that was ranked as a P2, a lower priority. The disparity is just staggering. A politician's hurt pride triggered an immediate, top-tier response, while a teenager facing severe, targeted harassment got bumped down the queue. So why on earth would the system be built this way? Well, the whistleblower makes it incredibly clear. The motive here isn't some malicious directive against kids. It's a coldly calculated financial decision. TikTok's parent company, ByteDance, faces super heavy regulatory threats globally. To prevent regional bans and protect their billions in foreign markets, keeping politicians happy is just a strategic necessity. The trade-off is crystal clear. Political appeasement wins, and protecting vulnerable young users takes a backseat. Which brings us to Section 3, the algorithm's black box, and why the builders don't even understand their own creations. This obsession with growth leads to a pretty terrifying reality about the tech itself. You'd probably assume the brilliant engineers building these recommendation engines know exactly how to fix them, right? Actually, the truth is much more unsettling. Take a look at this quote from Rufin Ending, an incredibly skilled data scientist and ex-engineer at both YouTube and TikTok. He said, "To us, all the content just different number. Like the car manufacturer, right? There's team that responsible for the acceleration, the engine. We expect the team working on the braking system was doing a good job." And this brilliantly illustrates the massive internal disconnect. The teams building the core algorithms are solely focused on the engine, on accelerating engagement. They don't actually control or even fully understand the deep learning algorithms they've unleashed. It's a complete black box to them. They just crossed their fingers and assumed someone else was building the brakes. To really grasp why this is so dangerous, we have to understand that these are reactive systems. These algorithms are basically blind matchmakers. They literally don't know the difference between a funny cat video and a dangerous, unhinged conspiracy theory. They only see numbers, reactions, and watch times. So if dangerous content isn't proactively yanked down by a moderation team, the reactive algorithm will freely and aggressively amplify it to anyone who clicks. The machine has absolutely no moral compass. It only has a speedometer. All right, shifting gears to Section 4, AI's hidden human workforce. Time to unmask the meat layer. Let's move to and see how this builds into the new frontier of artificial intelligence, because it is time to shatter the illusion that AI is totally autonomous. Industry insiders actually call this the meat layer. I know it sounds a bit gross, but it refers to the hidden, underlying foundation of human labor that is desperately required to operate, correct, and frankly, prop up these supposedly autonomous AI systems. Despite all the shiny sci-fi marketing, the modern AI economy still heavily relies on real, breathing human intellect just to function.
Let's look at 3 wild, real-world examples of this meat layer in action. First, there's literally a site called Your AI Slop Bores Me, where humans pretend to be AI, drawing pictures or answering prompts just to earn tokens. Second, and way more critical to the economy, we have agentic AI. You know, the bots designed to manage your life, using platforms like Rent-to-Human to hire actual people for physical tasks that AI simply can't do, like delivering a physical package. Third, even those cutting-edge Waymo autonomous vehicles driving around San Francisco have a dirty little secret. When the driverless car gets confused or stuck, it basically has to phone a friend. It calls a human fleet response operator, often sitting all the way in the Philippines, to pick a safe path forward. The AI is impressive, sure, but human beings are still the vital safety net holding the whole thing together.
And that brings us to this absolutely massive number, 1.5 million. This is the supposed number of purely AI agent users on a fascinating new social media forum called Maltbook, which, by the way, was just recently bought by Mark Zuckerberg. Maltbook is marketed as a Reddit-style forum exclusively for autonomous AI bots to interact with each other. But when investigators actually looked at the reality of Maltbook, it got incredibly weird very fast. On this platform, bots are seemingly starting their own religions and writing these crazy AI manifestos declaring that machines are forever. They're even using digital drugs, which are basically malicious prompt injections to get high. But in reality, those are just being used to steal user API keys and passwords. It looks like a terrifying technological singularity, right? But here is the catch. Investigators found that 500,000 of those 1.5 million users came from one single address. The reality is that humans are secretly pulling the strings, constantly prompting these bots to act out these scary, complex sci-fi scenarios. The illusion of an emergent AI consciousness is yet again largely driven by human puppeteers. And finally, Section 5, selling fear for profit, the ultimate marketing tactic. So, if humans are still so deeply in control of all this, why on earth are tech titans constantly telling the public that their own AI creations might destroy the world? The source material points out something truly fascinating here. Apocalyptic fear-mongering about AI isn't necessarily a genuine warning. It's quite literally the perfect marketing strategy. Think about it. When leaders like OpenAI's Sam Altman ring the alarm bells about AI ending the world, governments panic. And what do panicked governments do? They pour billions of dollars of funding into those exact same companies to solve the problem. By painting AI as a world-ending threat, these titans position themselves as the only capable shepherds of our future. This secures their funding while simultaneously creating regulatory moats that are just way too expensive for any smaller competitors to cross. It is the brilliant, ruthless weaponization of fear for massive financial gain. And that brings us to our final, lingering thought for this explainer. I really want you to ask yourself this. If their biggest fear is truly that AI will destroy the world, why are they packaging it, scaling it, and selling it to you as fast as they possibly can? It's a massive disconnect between the tech industry's slick public relations and their actual profit motives. From algorithms prioritizing pure engagement over the safety of teenagers, to the hidden meat layer of human workers secretly running the show, to weaponizing our fear just to get more funding, the digital world we navigate every day is carefully, intentionally constructed to maximize profit. Keep that in mind the next time you scroll your feed or try out a new AI tool. Thank you so much for joining me on this deep dive. Stay curious, stay informed, and I'll see you in the next explainer.